In the year 2000, two companies held meetings that dictated the next 2 decades of home entertainment. One company evaluated the market by looking backward, and the other by looking forward. The result was that one empire shattered completely. Blockbuster built their multi-billion-dollar operation on lagging indicators. They looked at past success, specifically the massive revenue generated from late fees, and assumed that historical data guaranteed future stability. A small startup named Netflix focused on leading indicators. They tracked the steady, upward trajectory of global internet speeds and matched it with a permanent human trait, the desire for maximum convenience. Today, we are going to audit your current operations. We are moving your strategy from a reactive posture that waits for lagging data to a proactive posture that anticipates market direction. To do this, you need to grab a pen and a physical notebook right now. As you do, isolate one specific active project or objective you are currently managing. Thinking about future scenarios in your head is just daydreaming. Putting ink on paper turns those scenarios into a concrete target, making that notebook an essential tool for surviving a market shift. The tool we will use to force this strategic shift is Card 89, Trend Analysis. The card highlights a quote from Abraham Lincoln: "The best way to predict the future is to create it." That requires taking an active, physical role in shaping your outcomes. Relying purely on historical sales and past data to run your business is exactly like driving down a highway by only looking in your rearview mirror. You know exactly where you've been, but you are completely blind to the stalled traffic sitting a quarter mile ahead. Active trend analysis is the act of finally looking through the windshield. Looking forward requires tracking leading indicators. These are the subtle shifts in consumer behavior and external conditions that haven't shown up on a balance sheet yet. You cannot control the road conditions ahead of you, but by looking through the windshield, you gain the time needed to make a calculated lane change before an impact occurs. This section of our strategy map highlights our core philosophy, labeled the human nature constant. This is our ultimate predictive baseline. Hardware, software, and platforms change so fast that they are extremely difficult to predict over a 10-year timeline. Human desires, however, are rigid and have barely changed over thousands of years. When a market adopts something new, it is almost entirely driven by 3 constant needs: the desire for tasks to be executed faster, for resources to be acquired cheaper, and for daily friction to be made easier. True trend prediction is simply identifying emerging technology and observing how it satisfies those ancient, highly predictable human behaviors. On the back of the card, you'll find 3 strategic prompts designed for immediate implementation. The first prompt asks you to map out macro shifts. What changes in global technology, your industry, or your business environment are currently gaining momentum? The second prompt focuses inward. How will those specific, massive external shifts threaten or elevate the unique niche you currently occupy? The final prompt demands an immediate response plan. What physical preparations can you start executing today to insulate your operation? To prevent analysis paralysis, I want you to choose only one of these 3 prompts to answer right now. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Write your answer in your notebook and do not self-edit. Force a decision onto the page. Forcing a written decision in this moment is the mechanism that takes you out of passive learning and initiates active market preparation. If you took those 5 minutes, you have already completed more proactive strategic planning than most of your competitors will do this entire quarter. A common hesitation with this exercise is the fear of planning for an industry shift that never actually materializes. Perfect predictive accuracy is secondary. The physical act of planning for disruption builds the adaptive muscle you need to pivot quickly. When you analyze a potential threat, you invariably identify inefficiencies in your current system. Fixing those issues makes your operation leaner, granting you a competitive advantage regardless of what the actual future holds. Look down at the paragraph you just wrote. That text is the literal first structural brick of your future business architecture. Executing daily operational tasks keeps the lights on today, but dedicating a fraction of your time strictly to strategic forecasting guarantees your doors stay open 10 years from now. The return on investment for that focused time is immense. To test your strategy, ask yourself what happens if the primary technology your business relies on vanishes entirely by tomorrow morning. If your current tools were stripped away, what is the core, unchangeable human need that you still possess the knowledge to solve? Technology will evolve. Tools will be replaced. Maintaining a strict focus on the human problem you solve, rather than the tools you use to solve it, is your only permanent defense against obsolescence.